Another day, another Minecraft speedrun turns out to be fake. At this rate, Minecraft won't even have legit speedruns because everything at some point is just gonna turn out to be fake.
In the past month or so, while I was busy focusing on the amazing Getting Over It 1-minute speedrun and the cheating scandal that shocked the Geometry Dash community, there has been an unfathomable development in the Minecraft speedrunning world. Now, I hope you're sitting down when I say this, but it has come to our attention that a very well-known Minecraft speedrunner was actually cheating the entire time. I know what you're thinking. This can't be possible. No one would even dream of cheating in Minecraft, a game so sacred. How could someone stoop so low? But alas, it's true. During the months of March and April, one of the most famous speedruns in Minecraft history was being investigated as a possible candidate for cheating. This was a time of 3 minutes and 59 seconds by the runner NicoCraft HD, and it's one of the most viewed speedruns in Minecraft history, and it was achieved all the way back in 2019. Initially, the investigation turned up nothing, but then, out of nowhere, the runner Eliotex spotted something that wasn't normal in one of NicoCraft's other speedruns. This was a much more recent world record from 2022. After Nico beat the Ender Dragon and returned to the overworld, it just didn't look right. In fact, it was clear as day that the run was cheated just by looking at what was happening on screen. From here, the rabbit hole deepened, and the more they
was that just a frame after he returns and you can see almost the beginning screen of the game? Is that it?
Investigated, the more proof they found that NicoCraft was cheating the entire time. Even his most famous world record from all the way back in 2019. In this video, we will take a look at what they found, because in hindsight, it's pretty hilarious. I really hope you enjoy. Now, a big thanks to this video's sponsor, Empires and Puzzles. Empires and Puzzles is a free-to-play puzzle RPG where you match shields of the same color during combat to launch attacks. Honestly, the puzzle element...
There we go. Lag. It happens.
2019 was a really strange time for Minecraft speedrunning. This was just before the community blew up and became massive in 2020, in large part, in my opinion, due to the popularity of Dream, who brought the idea of Minecraft speedrunning to millions of people. People had speed...
That's true, but then he made a face reveal and everyone laughed at him. Bruh, do you by the way know that Dream's face reveal is so astonishingly horrible and no one wants to look at him so much that he is actually trying to take it back? He is trying to delete every video where his face is visible so no one knows how he looks again. That's just something else.
Run the game previously, but the community was relatively tiny compared to what it is today. But
he
on
also
YouTube,
was a cheater.
Just before speedrunning Minecraft became popular, videos of speedruns randomly started to get tons of views. For example, there is a speedrun video of just a personal best, not even a world record, with no fancy title or anything, that was released in January of 2019 and has 13 million views. It was obvious that the market was there for speedrunning Minecraft, and it just wasn't being filled. Then of course Dream came along at the perfect moment, and the speedrunning community exploded from there. Another Minecraft speedrun that was released in April of 2019 is one that we'll talk about today. It was a claimed world record of 3:59 by NicoCraft HD. The category for this record is actually kind of obscure. It's the pre-1.9 any percent set seed glitchless category, but played on the peaceful setting. This is a pretty random...
That's like 20 different things in a category, by the way. If you don't know, Minecraft has like a billion different categories because some patches fundamentally change how the game plays at such a deep level that, you know, they do it based on patches and whatnot. It's kind of insane, honestly.
And underplayed category, let's be honest. But because they put the title of their video as New Minecraft World Record without any further distinction, the video went crazy on YouTube. attaining over 11 million views. So while it wasn't the main category, this world record was kind of a big deal just because of how many views it got. Now, the context of the video is strange for a couple of reasons. First, it appeared to be the first video Nico uploaded to his channel, which should always raise a red flag. And secondly, it has no sound. It's important to remember that 2019 for Minecraft speedrunning is pretty ancient, and while the game has been around for over a decade, the community is still very young, which also means that at this time the proof standards were incredibly low. So even this soundless video was enough proof to be accepted onto the leaderboards, making this an official world record. Nico would continue to post random videos to their channel.
You know what I'm surprised about is the fact that there are so many cheaters in speedruns. It's like you have a super dedicated community that at the same time is dedicated about everything about that game, but checking actually records? No. No, I have seen a couple of speedruns that have been faked in, very interesting and very minor ways that really are hard to notice. But man, you would honestly be surprised what kind of blatantly visible cheating gets sometimes through to the record scene, just because people don't in the community don't care enough to actually check is it legit or not.
Until March of 2022, where he would post another world record in the same category. This was a time of 2:49, which, despite breaking one of the rules at the time, which was to show the F3 screen, was also accepted to the ranks. And once again, all the proof he needed was this one video. To be fair, this isn't one of the main categories, so the proof requirements were less stringent. If this was the main category, Nico may have been forced to hand over all of the world and log files, and even possibly the full session video, which would have proved it was fake immediately. But in this case, they weren't requested, and it slipped through. After the Minecraft cheating scandal that shocked everyone at the end of last year, people started to really take a closer look at some of these older world records. And Nico's world records were examined again, especially the end fight with the Ender Dragon, because they were extremely lucky. And the end fight was something that Minecraft had cheated on specifically, so it was natural to look at other runs that might have done the same. However, while they were lucky, there was no proof they were fake. But then, a month later, the runner Elliot X noticed something that was subtle if you weren't looking for it, but once you see it, it's incredibly obvious. In Nico's most recent world record, the strategy begins with going to a desert temple for gold, which you need to trade with a nearby villager for an Eye of Ender. On the way from the desert temple to the village, he uses TNT to cross the river and climb the slope. When Nico respawns back into the overworld after defeating the Ender Dragon, that same TNT should still be visible, but they're missing. So this is pretty strong evidence that at this point in his gameplay, he isn't playing the same world that he started on. With this essentially confirming that there was a splice at some point, Elliot X looked at other things that might be different. And
such a small, minute detail. Imagine you try so hard to fake a children's game, and you fail. That probably is devastating. I mean, I'm saying children's game, but Minecraft speedrunning is serious. Every kind of speedrunning is somehow magically extremely serious, by the way. But it is funny. It is funny. Where there's fame, there's always gonna be someone who is gonna try to do anything and everything to just get this sweet, sweet morsel of fame. That's why people become YouTubers. That's why people do stupid shit on TikTok. It's just, wherever there is an opportunity for eyes to be laid upon you, no matter how stupid the preliminary requirement is, someone's gonna fulfill it, so those eyes are pointed in your direction. Be it a prank, be it a game, be it whatever. People are always hungry for that attention.
Immediately noticed that the clouds in the sky when Nico respawned were completely different to when he first loaded the world.
Are they
clouds in Minecraft move very slowly, and only 3 minutes had passed, so this shouldn't be the case. In order to go from the cloud pattern you see at the start of the run and get the cloud pattern that Nico ended up with, you would have to wait a full hour. But still, there's even more. And this is something that most people should be able to spot. But to understand its significance, significance, you do need to know something specific about how the game works. But take a look at this picture of the environment when you first spawn into the seed.
Okay.
And now take a look at this picture that comes from Nico's run after he comes back. And see if you can notice what's different. You may have to pause the video and go back a few times to see it. Okay, so
Okay, so let's do it like this. Does anyone see anything? Oh, the cactuses. Oh, this cactus has gotten smaller? It must be the cactuses, right? Can there be anything else here? I don't know. I think it's the cactuses probably. Look at that. Oh, there's some I don't know what that even is. It looks the same though. It's probably the cactuses. Because there's literally nothing different. Unless someone's like looking at the tiles one by one. Should be the cactuses. If it's something more minor, I don't think anyone would ever notice.
What's different? You may have to pause the video and go back a few times to see it. Okay, so the difference is the height of the cacti. Almost every cactus has increased in height by 1 block. This
but
is
that one
impossible
got... Yeah, but that one got smaller. Is that even possible? I don't think... Is it really so strange?
The average time it takes for any one cactus to increase in height by 1 block is around 18 minutes.
Okay.
So the chance of having all of these cacti grow higher within 3 minutes is astronomically low.
Okay, yeah,
This difference was actually found much later after Nico was already exposed, but
Yeah, but how about that cactus that got shorter by 1? I think that's way more sus.
One of these 3 differences was proof that there was a splice somewhere. But Nico's original world record of 359 didn't show the overworld after he beat the Ender Dragon, so these types of discrepancies couldn't be checked. However, by accident, only minutes after Elliot X found the differences in the 249, another runner, Crafted Dark, did find something else that shouldn't be possible.
Okay,
and this
let's
final evidence proved beyond a shadow of...
This is fun. This is like, you know, spot the difference. I like this. I actually really enjoyed it. Plus, I got it right. Yeah. Well, admittedly, it was just the cactuses. There was nothing else. It should be obvious because he said it's kind of obvious. So it can't be something super small, right?
Of a doubt that both world records were fake. One of the most impactful mechanics in Minecraft is hunger. Generally, the player needs to eat food to keep their hunger bar full. After a certain amount of time without eating, the hunger bar starts to deplete. The mechanism that determines when it starts to deplete is called saturation. Eating food will increase both the hunger bar and the player's saturation. When saturation reaches 0, not only does the hunger bar start to deplete, but the drumsticks that represent the bar start to move. On Peaceful, the hunger bar will never deplete, but when saturation reaches 0, the bar will still move. If you watch Nico's runs, the hunger bar starts to move around 30 seconds after the run begins, as that's the time it takes for the saturation level to reach 0. What should happen is that the hunger bar will continue to move for the rest of the run. But in Nico's runs, this is not what happens. After Nico enters the end portal, the hunger bar stops moving, and doesn't start moving again for around 30 seconds. This shouldn't happen, as your saturation level should still be 0 even going through portals. The only explanation is that before entering the end, his saturation level magically refilled. They already knew the 249 was spliced because of the differences in the overworld, but now they knew both runs was...
Yeah, you know, there's so many small things to account for. It's like, it's a miracle anyone even tries, honestly, to fake these things. You need to account for pixels, you need to account for spawns, blah, blah, blah. Like, every run cheated at some point is probably going to be just figured out by the community. It just makes sense.
And where? The reason you would splice just before the end is because in order to get a fast end fight, you need to get extremely lucky. But this is especially true on Peaceful. If you watch the world record on the main category, you'll see them use TNT to kill Endermen and get pearls. These pearls are then used to climb towers, and use the crystals on top to kill the dragon after it charges at you. The luck you need here is getting the dragon to charge quickly. On peaceful mode, you don't have Endermen, so you can't get pearls.
Oh,
And because
true.
you can't use pearls to climb the towers, you need the towers to be short. And it just so happens that in the pre-1.9 category, playing on the 1.8 version of Minecraft, each time you load the seed, the height of the towers are random. The terrain will always be the same, but the towers differ in height greatly. So not only do you need to get lucky with dragon charges, but you also need the towers to be short so you can climb them. You could mine extra blocks in the overworld, but you end up losing time both in getting the blocks in the first place and in the time it would take to climb tall towers. So this is why Nico spliced the run. They did the first section up to the end portal on one world, then they continuously reloaded the world until they found a good end setup.
I don't remember where I saw this, but I remember seeing this in some kind of video. That splicing right before the loading screens, by the way, is pretty much impossible to actually detect. You know, there are some videos that actually show how impossible it is to detect spliced content in certain games. You know, if you do it between loading screens and whatnot, that it's almost impossible to actually tell if it's real or not, because there's just no giveaway. There is literally just no giveaway. There's not even a pixel giveaway.
They did this on creative mode because creative mode was required to give themselves all of the same items and XP again. This process of giving themselves items and XP and making sure everything was correct is the reason the clouds and the cacti suggested he was in the world for a long time. Once they have found the end and given themselves all of the items, they would get to the end portal and save the game. Then they would change from creative to peaceful and jump in the portal. After getting a good end fight, Nico then just spliced the two sections together. The interesting thing about creative mode is that saturation doesn't go down. So the saturation level would have been full right up until he changed from creative to peaceful, just before entering the end portal. There is also plenty of other minor issues with the video on a technical level, like the timer not fading out at the end of the video at the same rate as the gameplay footage, meaning that it was placed into the video in post-production instead of being recorded at
he means this.
Same time, but all of these smaller details are not conclusive.
That's stupid, because you can layer that shit and that should fade out at the same time if you do the layering properly. That's such a beginner mistake, though. Yeah, he means this timer and this timer, probably, that they're not fading out at the same time. Dude, you can do that so easily with just proper layering. What's wrong with you? Oh my god.
Proof. I'll put a link to a document going over everything in the description. After all of this evidence was discovered, Nico was banned and publicly exposed. Shortly afterwards, Nico confessed to cheating the world records in a public video he uploaded to his YouTube channel.
Why did they actually, confess to cheating? Is there a point in it? It's like, yeah, you cheated. Do they try to confess so they think that something good is gonna happen from that? I don't think that works like that. You know, I don't think people care if you confess or not at the end of the day.
But according to Nico, this was all just an altruistic act to get Minecraft speedrunning more popular. And also Nico doesn't really care about getting exposed because it was never about that. He cheated out of the goodness of his heart for the community. And now that he has achieved his...
Every cheater, every bad person in the world has always protected their atrocious opinions and actions by the good of the other
goal, he can return to his home planet for many more wacky adventures. I noticed some comments in his confession video, congratulating Nico and giving him respect for coming clean. But that's not exactly what happened, because after the evidence was found, Crafterdark messaged Nico directly, asking if he could explain himself. And of course, Nico lied, saying that his runs were legit and he just doesn't know why these phenomena were present. So no, Nico did not.
Bruh, the classic, well, I don't actually know why that's happening. Woo! Ghosts! It's always ghosts.
Not confess when confronted, he lied as cheaters normally do. It was only after getting a massive amount of public attention that he decided to confess and make up a story about how really he is the good guy. He inspired so many people with his popular speedrun video, and ultimately, he doesn't even care.
It's
Once
a
again,
classic.
this was a case of low proof standards letting a fake world record on the ranks. Not that I blame the moderators, it was an obscure category.
I do. Do your job, or don't be a moderator. But I do it for free. You're getting paid in admiration. Suck it up and do your job, or someone else is gonna get paid in admiration. Look at Reddit. It literally functions on a bunch of naked beards just drooling for admiration and power trips.
Category that barely anyone plays and is only famous because it somehow exploded in the YouTube algorithm. But even just watching the run, it's obvious Nico is not a good player. For example, when Nico achieved his most recent world record, you needed short towers for the end fight. Now this changed afterwards with a strategy using TNT to blast up to the top of a tall tower, but at the time you still needed short towers, and you also don't have many blocks to climb them. But in Nico's run, he literally throws blocks away, multiple times. A legitimate runner would never do this because they know how important blocks are. The reason Nico didn't care about blocks is because he was just going to find the perfect end setup anyway, so it didn't matter. But when watching the footage, it's so obvious that he has no idea what's important when actually grinding for a world record. This should have been a...
Can you actually, like, throw a block in front of yourself while going forward and not pick it up? Is that, like, a thing? I don't know.
Massive red flag from day one.
Yep.
But perhaps I can only say this because I already know it's fake. And hindsight is 2020.
True.
Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day.
Yep. Wow. Interesting video. Again, every speedrun sooner or later is gonna be fake. And the world's most luckiest speedrun is also gonna be fake. Not because it's actually fake, but because no one believes that 1 in a million chance actually happened. That's also an interesting thing to think. Because again, some guy is gonna get that 1 in a billion RNG when doing a world record attempt. And he's gonna get the world record. And his run is gonna be deemed cheated. Because he got too lucky. Think about that one for a bit now, will ya? Anyway, this was Quizzer Sits, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.